So in this webinar, we are going to talk about two interesting technologies to do with skin smoothing. This is the a typical request that we get from multiple people that we are in contact with them. What do we have new that's interesting and effective to smooth the skin? So it's a very challenging issue, and we will talk about this. Again, our goal here is to help you formulate better products. That's what we want to achieve in this webinar. And for that purpose, we have a program, and the program contains three parts. The first part will talk about skin smoothing. Let's identify what is exactly, what do we mean by skin smoothing? Then we'll talk about solutions. And I've shown here two solutions. The first one is SalSphere Even Skin, technology-based solution, delivery of chemicals and biological active ingredients to smooth the skin. The second one is another completely different concept that's using multiple ingredients encapsulated in one single microsphere. This is our multi-cell, multi-layer. Again, multiple active ingredients that deliver at different times and reach different layers of the skin to achieve the same goal, skin smoothing. So this is the program, pretty busy for the next hour, and I hope to keep you interested in what I'm saying and interesting in these technologies, and I hope it will be effective for all of us. So let's start with our first identification, skin smoothing. So when you look at this face, there is no question, what does it mean, skin smoothing? The baby skin is smooth. Okay, so this is no issue to identify what is skin smoothing. But when we talk about skin smoothing in cosmetic or personal care, we need a little bit more identification. So when we say skin means smoothing, we means even, color is even, flat, spotless. We're talking about complexation, which means even spread of the pigment all over the skin, so we don't have patches of high color, low color, with no wrinkles, no bumps, no lumps, no blemishes. So this is the definition, and this is where we identified where do we need to give a treatment for skin smoothing. Anything of these issues relating to skin smoothing. In other words, in many people's minds, skin smoothing is when is the situation when you don't need to wear any kind of foundation, no concealers, you don't have to hide any imperfections. So this is skin smoothing. So how do we go there? What is our specific opportunity? How do we see this effect in real life? And I will show you a couple of images to remind you, what does it mean, skin smoothing? So here you see one image that's showing uneven skin, hyperpigmentation, patches, and shiny, which means oily skin. This skin or this person definitely would enjoy a technology to smooth out the skin. Here is another example. In this example, you can see blemishes, uneven, dull, irritated. You see the red spots. This person also needs or could enjoy or could benefit from a skin smoothing technology. Again, another kind of skin, totally different. This is dry skin, but it has damages, acne, inflammation. It looks tired, lost the radiant, and lost the brightness. And of course, whenever you see wrinkles, you know, this skin can also benefit from a skin smoothing technology. So look well at these faces. This is our customers. This is where we need to give answers to. This is the cases that require some kind of solutions that we are going to talk about them today. So let's start with the science and ask the question of what causes the skin to become rough or textured. What's the reason for that? Why we came to this situation? And then we try to answer how to overcome the problem. So the picture talks a lot. And you can see that the major reason for rough or textured skin, there are four major reasons, but one of them, the number one, is environmental factors, which means anything to do with chemicals in the water that we wash the face with, like chlorine, for example, chemicals in the air pollution, overexposure to sun, or living in areas that are really dry, such as California in some places, or even other states in South of America. So this is environmental factors. There may be some more that definitely affect the skin. Number two reason for that is age. Nothing to do with age, with accumulating stress, and also with age, we change some of the hormones. So the hormonal unbalance, like menopause, for example, is a reason to result with rough and textured skin. Number three, our genetic conditions, something that has nothing to do actually with the environment or the age. It's a genetic condition, which means the tendency to become a very acne prone skin, or skin that's sensitive to immune system, so eczema, keratosis pilaris, psoriasis, and so on. So this is something that is being affected by the genes, and it's a fact of the matter. That's it. And number four, which we have better control, is care. Our ability to care for the skin. If we don't care for the skin, we definitely may have buildup of dead and keratinized skin cells, and this affecting the roughness and the texture of the skin. So some of this we cannot control, like the genes, for example, but some of this we can control. And this is where we come in skincare science, technology, and business to provide solutions by methods of caring for the skin. So why do we have this? Why do we need to rejuvenate the skin and work on the texture? Is because the skin is built up of different layers. You see the top layer to the bottom layer, the blue line is the dermis. And the dermis cells are dividing and reach the top layer. And the top layer, they tend to exfoliate. This is what we call rejuvenate. This is a process that with normally young people, it takes about 28 days, and we can get a new face, new skin. And here you can see, what does it mean, a new skin? You see how radiant and bright it is compared to an old skin that lost the radiance, the brightness, and so on. So a normal skin, younger looking skin, people at the age of, let's say, 20, 25 maybe, they rejuvenate the skin every 28, 30 days, like every month, um, new face. Now imagine when people get older, then it takes a longer time. So in order to rejuvenate or accelerate the exfoliation, which is another word for rejuvenate the skin, we need some help. Now, what can be used to help rejuvenate the skin? And I will talk about only a few actives and will not go further than this. So the first group of active that you probably are familiar, I just review it shortly, is the group that's called alpha hydroxy acid. And what's unique about this? You see the carboxylic group, and the hydroxylic group is, this is the carboxylic group, and the hydroxylic group is on the first carbon, that's why it's called alpha. When it's on the second carbon, it's called beta. When it's on the third, it's called gamma. Of course, alpha and beta are more common in the cosmetic industry. What do we know about alpha? They are water soluble. So what does it mean? Is it good or bad? So water soluble means that it's very easy to incorporate them in the formula. However, they will not penetrate the skin. So these are good for surface exfoliation. Most of the alpha are naturally occurring, which is pretty good. And they are used for different purposes. For example, to reduce scars because they exfoliate. Hyperpigmentation, again, exfoliate the top layer of the skin with high pigment to expose a younger looking, more brighter skin, less accumulation of melanin. Also, they used to enhance skin texture. The skin looks much younger, and it also can reduce the fine lines, the wrinkles, and promote overall skin turnover. So this is about alpha. Now, alpha typically used at high level, somewhere between 5 up to 30%, like glycolic acid, like lactic acid, and so on. The only problem that we have with alpha is, first of all, they're water soluble, so they cannot give you a deeper penetration. They only work on the surface, high concentration, and the major issue, some people have sensitivity to alpha hydroxy acid, and more than this, they are sun sensitive. So you cannot, or it's, well, I would say it's not recommended to wear alpha hydroxy acid on day creams, especially if you're going to expose to the sun. So this is all about alpha hydroxy acid. We'll come back to this in a few minutes. The other groups is the beta hydroxy acid. Now you know what is beta. Beta originally coming from botanical source. Today we have some biosimilar alternative to this. And number one, we know that it's coming from bark of willow tree. This is called the willow tree. It's in the picture. The bark is extracted, and this is, you see the second carbon, this carboxylic, the second carbon has the hydroxyl group. What's characteristic about beta is that it's oil soluble. So it means it's not oil, it's not water soluble, which means difficult to formulate with this. Okay, another characteristic, it's known to exfoliate the skin. It goes deeper into the layers, and it can enhance and improve the skin texture. FDA approved the use of beta hydroxy acid as a drug at a certain concentration of 0.5 to 2 and higher. Below that, it's considered to be cosmetic applications only. So this is a much better, beta hydroxy acid is a much better active to smooth the skin. But what is the challenge? And here is the challenge. Number one, low solubility, almost not soluble at all in water. And you can see it when you try to formulate with the salicylic acid. You definitely see that in water it becomes golden and it precipitates. If you heat it up in order to enhance solubility, yes, at 90 degrees C, it will be soluble in the water, but then when you cool it down, you will see the crystals coming back. So this is number one, it's a technical issue. Therefore, it's causing a lot of trouble to formulators. So formulators, listen well, because we're going to show you how to overcome this problem. The typical way of formulators to overcome the problem was to use alcohol or house surfactant. Both are ingredients that are not recommended to be used on the skin, because typically you don't want to damage the skin. So we have to have another solution for that. The other major challenge using beta hydroxy acid is it's irritating, especially irritating consumers with sensitive skin. And almost most of the consumers today will admit they have sensitive skin. So a regular solution to smooth the skin with salicylic acid, full of challenges. What is the solution?